Vespiquen is quite an unusual Pokemon. What really intrigues me the most about Vespiquen is her ability to control a horde of underlings to do her bidding. Research has shown that Vespiquen achieves this through the use of various pheromones. I have reason to believe that these pheromones are released from a gland in the center of Vespiquen's honeycomb structure, which can be placed in three categories: attack order, defend order, and heal order. The pheromones released cause a behavioral change in Vespiquen's underlings, causing them to either defend or heal their queen or attack the opponent. I'm especially curious as to how heal order works. The official Pokédex entry states that the user calls out its underlings to heal it. The user regains up to half of its max HP. However, the way the underlings heal Vespiquen is unknown. My theory is that her underlings carry a special kind of liquid from Vespiquen's honeycombs, which is used to feed and rejuvenate her. This move is quite similar to how Miltank can use milk drink to heal itself, except Vespiquen doesn't have a pheromone command to feed this liquid to fellow Pokémon, as opposed to how Miltank can give its milk away. Comey hives may have the most inconsistent behavior of any Pokémon society I have ever seen, and a large part of that seems to be because their behavior is dependent on the Vespiquen's personality. Unlike most Comey colonies, the hives found in the Sinnoh region usually have a Vespiquen who won't make rash decisions, instead opting to consult a council of female Comey I'd like to call the Comey Congress. While the Comey Congress does allow Vespiquen to make informed orders, it also has the nasty side effect of making this hive's reaction time fairly slow, meaning that hundreds of Comey were often lost to simple threats such as a few hungry Staravia. The Unova hive, on the other hand, was honestly the most terrifying thing I have ever researched. This hive's Vespiquen was much more like an evil dictator than a queen. Any Comey that arrived late would be brutally executed in front of the others as an example. This Vespiquen's army itself was extremely bloodthirsty, as even Pokémon like Excadrill found their flesh completely stripped from their bones within seconds of entering the hive. In a bizarre twist, another female Comey evolved into a Vespiquen during my observations. This led to what I can best describe as a civil war, with the new Vespiquen's army quickly decimating the smaller loyalist army. As it turns out, a Vespiquen without a hive is very similar to one you would find in Pokémon battles, so the kicked-out Vespiquen was easy prey for a female Ursaring. On the bright side, the Teddy Ursa cubs seemed to enjoy the rare delicacy. The queen bee could theoretically be the strongest Pokémon in existence. It has been known that a single Vespiquen can have thousands of Comey as part of her hive. A horde of this size would be able to topple the strongest of opponents in a similar fashion to how eating 1,000 Rage candy bars would give you diabetes. The problem lies in two factors. First is that Vespiquen are natural laissez-faire style leaders and will allow their underlings to perform hive duties as necessary. The second aspect is that Comey are incredibly driven by the need to find and collect as much flower nectar as possible. They will travel incredible distances to acquire the nectar from flowers in bloom from all sorts of regions. Thus, a single hive can have honey ambassadors from as far as Armia to Unova at any given time. Wild Vespiquen will have a dedicated guard unit of around 10 Comey to protect the queen. Court Vespiquen may have as low as 3. However, with the use of their signature attacks, these Vespiquen can attract their traveling hive members even from within their Pokeballs, who may switch in and out with the nearby dedicated guard. This guard of Comey are also trained to avoid the general area of the Vespiquen's trainer as necessary, since having a gang of bee Pokémon constantly buzzing around is a major travel nuisance. Despite being viewed as a strange species with unusual characteristics, I personally don't believe Vespiquen is such a confusing Pokémon, or at least in relation to other species like Ditto or Macamp. Vespiquen releases pheromones into the air, acting as a message to the members of the hive to either defend her, attack the invader, or heal their queen, all of which require too many words to describe completely and exceed the limit of this episode. Supposedly, Vespiquen will only attack if the Comey are unable to defend the hive. After watching a hive defend itself against Pokemon that I released, ignore the fire over there. The Vespiquen didn't seem able to defend properly after the Komi fell. Not being able to deploy its unique skills, it could only use a handful of attacks, surprising even me by using the move Power Gem, originating from the jewel on its head, which is where I assume the pheromones are released. What confuses me personally, however, is the fact that people are unable to tap into the power that Vespiquen holds. Whether through commands, through engineering non-Vespiquen produced pheromones, or even through illegitimate methods, Komi will simply not respond to those commands. Interestingly enough, should one have the trust of a Vespiquen, he or she can easily command the Vespiquen to use those moves, thus commanding the Komi to do what a trainer never could.